The rumble of motorcycle engines cut through the quiet California afternoon like thunder. Aaron Williams sat astride his Harley, the chrome gleaming in the sunlight as three other bikers flanked him. At 32, Aaron had built a life of respect among the Steel Brotherhood for his almost supernatural ability to diagnose engine problems by sound alone. Fellow bikers called him the Whisperer, a man who could hear the language of machines when others only heard noise. What they didn't hear was the silence Aaron maintained about who he truly was. Behind his grease-stained hands and expert mechanical skills lived a man hiding in plain sight. Aaron had mastered the art of deflection, changing subjects whenever conversations veered toward relationships or family. His garage apartment in Oakland held no photos of dates or partners, just motorcycles and engines in various states of repair. For years, this careful dance had kept him safe within a brotherhood that celebrated traditional masculinity above all else. The memory of that rainy April night when he was 17 remained razor sharp. Standing in the living room of their Ohio home, rain lashing the windows as his father's face hardened into stone. "No son of mine will bring this shame to our family," Robert Williams had declared, his voice carrying the full weight of his position as a respected local minister. Within hours, Aaron found himself on the streets, a hastily packed duffel bag slung over his shoulder, the door locked firmly behind him. For 3 nights, he slept on park benches, raindrops mixing with tears until they became indistinguishable. Jason Sullivan found Aaron huddled in the back of an old garage, fixing motorcycles for cash. Something in the kid's hands caught Jason's attention. They moved over engines with an almost poetic precision. That night, Jason offered him a job, a place to sleep, and eventually, a family among the Steel Brotherhood. Aaron accepted all three, grateful for the sanctuary but terrified they would discover the truth he carried. "You ever think about settling down?" Jason had asked once, passing Aaron a beer after a long day's ride. Aaron's heart had frozen at mid-beat before he forced a casual shrug. "Too many bikes to fix, not enough time," he'd replied, the lie practiced and smooth. The fear of losing this second family kept his true self buried deep, where even he sometimes struggled to find it. The 4 bikers slowed as they approached a suburban neighborhood, engines purring at idle. That's when they heard it, a small voice rising above their mechanical thunder. "Sir, would you buy my bike? Please." Aaron turned his head toward the sound. At the edge of the sidewalk stood a little girl, no more than 6 years old. Her light brown hair was neatly combed, but her shoes were worn thin. Beside her stood a pink bicycle with white handlebars in a woven basket. In her small hands, she clutched a cardboard sign reading "For sale" in wobbly letters. But what struck Aaron most were her eyes. They carried an exhaustion no child should ever know. If this story has touched your heart already, please take a moment to subscribe to Heart Stories, where we share powerful tales of courage, identity, and finding family in unexpected places. Because sometimes the most important journeys begin with a single act of kindness. Aaron dismounted his motorcycle, leather jacket creaking as he approached the child. Behind him, Jason, Mike, and Tyler remained on their bikes, engines idling. The little girl looked up at him, her chin tilted with a determination that belied her tiny frame. "What's your name?" Aaron asked, kneeling to meet her eyes. "Emma," she answered, voice small but steady. "My bike is really good. It has a bell and everything." She reached out to demonstrate, the soft ping echoing between them. "Why are you selling your bike, Emma?" Aaron asked gently. Emma's eyes darted to the distance where a woman sat slumped against a tree, thin and pale. "Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days," she whispered. "I thought maybe someone would want my bike, and then we could buy food." Aaron felt something shift inside his chest. The familiar ache of recognition, of seeing someone pushed to the margins, deemed less valuable by a world that claimed to care. "My mom's name is Sophia," Emma continued, warming to Aaron's gentle attention. "She made really good food at a restaurant, but then Mr. Anderson said she couldn't work there anymore." Aaron glanced toward the woman. "Why did Mr. Anderson say that?" "Because Mommy had to take care of me sometimes when I got sick," Emma explained, her small fingers tightening around the "For sale" sign. He said she wasn't reliable, but she always went back to work, even when she was tired. The story unfolded between Emma's halting words. Sophia Martinez had been a talented chef at Meridian Catering, a prestigious company owned by Robert Anderson. When the company downsized, Anderson had specifically targeted Sophia, a single mother who occasionally needed schedule accommodations for her daughter. Despite her talent, despite her dedication, she became replaceable, a business decision that left a mother and child without food or security. Erin walked with Emma toward her mother. Sophia looked up, embarrassment and pride wearing on her face. "Emma, come here," she called weakly. "Don't bother these men." "She's not bothering us," Erin assured, taking in the situation. The threadbare blanket, the small bag of possessions, the hollow of Sophia's cheeks that spoke of skipped meals so her daughter could eat. "I used to be the headline cook," Sophia explained, pride briefly flashing through her exhaustion. "I asked Mr. Anderson for just 2 more weeks when he let me go, just enough time to find something else. He said single parents were too much of a liability." Erin felt the words like a physical blow, the same dismissal, the same casual cruelty he had faced when his own father decided his sexual orientation made him unworthy of family. Different circumstances, same message. You are less valuable because of who you are or what you need. He reached into his wallet and pressed several bills into Emma's small hand. "Keep your bike," he said softly. "This is for you and your mom." Emma's eyes widened. "Really?" Erin nodded, something resolving inside him. "Really, but this isn't all I'm going to do." As he walked back to his waiting brothers, Erin realized this moment wasn't just about helping a mother and child. It was about recognizing a pattern he'd witnessed his entire life. People being discarded when they didn't fit someone else's convenient narrative. He had spent years hiding to avoid that fate again. Perhaps it was time to stop hiding and start fighting. "We can't just leave it at that," Erin said as they gathered at a roadside diner 20 minutes later. The 4 men sat in a corner booth, coffee steaming in thick mugs between them. Jason frowned. "We gave them money. What more do you want to do? Not our business to get involved in every sob story we come across?" Erin's fingers tightened around his mug. That little girl was selling her only toy so her mother could eat, all because some executive decided a single mother wasn't worth keeping employed. He took a deep breath. "We need to confront Anderson, not with fists or threats, but with the truth. Make him see what his decisions actually cost." Mike, the largest of the group with forearms covered in tattoos, raised an eyebrow. "Since when do we get involved in corporate politics? We ride, we fix bikes, we mind our own business." Erin looked around at these men, his chosen family for the past 15 years. They had given him shelter, purpose, identity, yet they still didn't know his full truth. The thought of losing them paralyzed him, but Emma's eyes haunted him more. "There's something I never told you," Erin said finally, voice lower than the rumble of distant trucks outside. "When I was 17, my father threw me out of our house, not because I did anything wrong, because I'm gay." The silence that followed felt eternal. Jason's mug paused halfway to his lips. Tyler stared, expression unreadable. Mike's massive frame seemed to stiffen. "I've kept that hidden because I was afraid," Erin continued, each word feeling like stepping off a cliff. "Afraid you'd see me differently. Afraid I'd lose the only family I had left. But seeing that little girl today, willing to give up something she loved because the world decided her mother was worth less, I can't stay silent anymore." Well, Erin waited for rejection, for disgust, for the brotherhood to dissolve before his eyes. Instead, Mike, intimidating, hulking Mike with his skull tattoos and perpetual scowl, reached across the table and placed his massive hand on Erin's. "I'm bisexual," Mike said simply, his deep voice barely audible. "Never said it out loud to the club before. Figured it wasn't anyone's business who I sleep with, long as I can ride and fight." Erin stared, speechless. Tyler shifted uncomfortably before clearing his throat. "Well, This explains why you never joined us when we tried to set you up with my sister's friends. Jason remained silent longest, his weathered face unreadable. Finally, he met Aaron's eyes. 15 years. 15 years you've been fixing bikes beside me, drinking beers on my porch, having my back in every fight. You think that changes because of who you love? He shook his head. We're brothers, not because we're the same, because we stand together when it matters. Aaron felt something unravel inside him, a tension he'd carried so long he'd forgotten it wasn't part of his natural state. He blinked back, unexpected moisture from his eyes. So this Anderson guy, Jason continued, turning back to business. How do we handle him? And don't say violence, because I know that's not really what you're after. They formed a plan over cooling coffee and greasy fries, not to threaten or intimidate, but to confront with truth, to make visible what privilege had rendered invisible. Aaron realized as they talked that perhaps he'd underestimated his brothers all along, assumed their limits were narrower than reality. Sometimes family surprised you, if you gave them the chance. The headquarters of Meridian Catering occupied the 15th floor of a gleaming glass tower in downtown San Francisco. 4 men in leather jackets and motorcycle boots walking through the polished marble lobby drew immediate attention, exactly as they had intended. Can I help you? Asked the receptionist, alarm evident in her voice as the bikers approached her desk. We're here to see Robert Anderson, Aaron said calmly. Do you have an appointment? Her fingers hovered near what was likely a security button. Tell him it's about Sophia Martinez and her daughter, Aaron replied. He'll want to hear what we have to say. After several tense minutes and hushed phone calls, they were escorted to Anderson's corner office, a space of calculated luxury with panoramic views of the bay. Robert Anderson himself stood behind an imposing desk, his tailored suit and silver hair projecting authority and success. His expression registered dismissive curiosity rather than concern. Gentlemen, I'm very busy. What's this about a former employee? Aaron stepped forward and placed Emma's cardboard for sale sign on the pristine desk. This is what your business decisions cost, Mr. Anderson. A 6-year-old girl trying to sell her only toy so her mother could eat. Anderson's expression hardened. Employment decisions are complex. Meridian Catering had to eliminate several positions during the DAR restructuring. Ms. Martinez was unfortunately among those affected. But she wasn't just among those affected. Was she? Aaron pressed. You specifically targeted her because she was a single mother who occasionally needed flexibility. We need reliable staff, Anderson replied stiffly. Business isn't charity. No, but it shouldn't be cruelty either, Aaron countered. Sophia Martinez was one of your most talented chefs. She never missed a shift, even when exhausted from caring for her daughter. She only asked for 2 more weeks to find another position. Anderson shifted uncomfortably. I don't have to justify business decisions to strangers. My name is Aaron Williams, Aaron said clearly. The effect was immediate and startling. Anderson's face paled, his composure cracking. Williams, are you related to James Williams from Ohio? And there it was, the connection Aaron had suspected might exist when he first heard Anderson's name and company mentioned. James Williams is my father. You were his friend. You were there the night he threw me out for being gay. The room fell silent. Jason, Mike, and Tyler exchanged surprised glances. This hadn't been part of the plan they'd discussed. You stood in our living room, Aaron continued, his voice steady despite the emotion churning beneath. You heard him say no son of his would choose sin over family. And you said nothing. You watched a 17-year-old get thrown onto the street, and you did nothing. Anderson sank slowly into his chair. Aaron, I didn't recognize you. No, you wouldn't. I was just a teenager then. Aaron leaned forward, palms flat on the desk. And now you've done the same thing to Sophia and Emma. Different circumstances, same cruelty, deciding someone's humanity matters less than your comfort or convenience. The weight of recognition settled on Anderson's face, the dawning realization that he had perpetuated the very injustice he had once silently witnessed. Twice he had stood by while someone vulnerable was cast aside. "What do you want from me?" Anderson asked finally, his voice hollow. "Not money, not for us, anyway," Aaron replied. "I want you to see what you've done and make it right. Not just for Sophia and Emma, but for everyone you've discarded because they didn't fit your narrow definition of value." Anderson stared at the "for sale" sign, something shifting behind his eyes. "I never thought of it that way. People rarely do when privilege protects them from consequences," Aaron said. "But now you know. The question is, what will you do about it?" 3 months later, Aaron stood at the edge of a renovated storefront in Oakland, watching as workers installed the sign "Steel Wings Youth Center." The logo featured a motorcycle silhouette with gentle wings extending from either side, in strength and freedom combined. "Never thought I'd see the day," Jason remarked, standing beside him. "A biker-run support center for LGBTQ+ youth." Aaron smiled, pride warming his chest. Sometimes the most important journeys aren't the ones we take on the road. Inside, Sofia Martinez directed volunteers in the industrial kitchen. After Anderson had rehired her with a promotion and back pay, she'd chosen to split her time, developing Meridian's new community food program and serving as head chef for the youth center. Emma darted between tables, helping arrange donated clothes and supplies, her pink bike parked proudly near the entrance. The transformation extended far beyond this building. Anderson had made sweeping changes at Meridian Catering, creating a comprehensive support program for single-parent employees, establishing a community assistance fund, and most surprisingly becoming an outspoken advocate for workplace inclusion. "The kids will be arriving soon," Mike called from inside. The massive biker had revealed unexpected talents for organization and logistics, coordinating donations and volunteer schedules with military precision. Aaron nodded, taking one last moment to absorb the magnitude of what they'd created. The center would provide meals, temporary housing, counseling, and most importantly, community for LGBTQ+ youth rejected by their families. The very thing he'd needed at 17 and never received. His phone buzzed with a text from an unexpected number. "I'm here." Aaron's pulse quickened as he scanned the street until he spotted the older man standing awkwardly by a parked sedan, gray hair combed neatly, ministerial collar visible beneath his jacket. Robert Williams, his father, had come. Anderson had kept his promise to contact Aaron's father, to explain the parallel between what happened 15 years ago and what nearly happened to Sophia and Emma. Aaron hadn't expected anything to come of it, yet here his father stood, looking smaller than Aaron remembered, more uncertain. Aaron crossed the street slowly, years of rehearsed confrontations evaporating with each step. When they faced each other, neither spoke immediately. "Your friend, Mr. Anderson, told me what you've built here," Robert finally said, gesturing toward the center. "He said I should see it." "Why did you come?" Aaron asked. Robert hesitated. "I've told myself many things over the years. That I was following God's word. That I was protecting our family's reputation. That you would change." He shook his head slowly. "I never allowed myself to see what I actually did. Abandoned my child when he needed me most." It wasn't a full apology, but it was more than Aaron had ever expected. "Would you like to see inside?" The tour was brief and awkward, punctuated by Aaron's explanations and his father's terse nods. Yet something shifted when Emma approached them, tugging at Aaron's sleeve. "Is this your dad?" she asked innocently. Aaron nodded, unable to form words. Emma beamed at Robert. "Aaron saved me and my mom. He's the best person ever." Robert Williams looked at his son, really looked at him, perhaps for the first time in 15 years. "Yes," he said quietly. "I'm beginning to see that." It wasn't reconciliation, it wasn't forgiveness, but it was a beginning, a crack in the wall that had separated them for so long. That evening, as the first group of homeless LGBTQ+ teens arrived at Steel Wings, Aaron watched them enter with trepidation written across their faces, the same expression he'd worn for years. Their postures spoke of defenses built through rejection, of worthiness questioned and denied. "Welcome," he said, Yapayım, he said simply. You're safe here. Sometimes courage isn't a single dramatic act, but a quiet decision to stop hiding who you are. Sometimes family isn't defined by blood, but by those who stand beside you when the world turns away. And sometimes, one small act of kindness, stopping for a little girl selling her bicycle, can create ripples that heal wounds you never thought would close. Have you ever found family in unexpected places or discovered your voice after years of silence? Share your story in the comments below. Because at Heart Stories, we believe every journey of courage deserves to be told, every act of kindness celebrated, and every person valued for exactly who they are.